Howdy, folks. How may I help you?
2 teas for me and this lovely lady.
I'll take a cup of coffee and an apple cider with a cinnamon stick for this thalassakai.
I'll have 1 cup of tea.
Coming right up.
I remember the battles at Lexington and Concord in Massachusetts like it was yesterday.
The first battles of the Revolutionary War.
I was at Concord, cooking up a stew when the British stormed in and threatened an attack. Luckily, the Minutemen showed up and forced the British to retreat back into Boston.
The battles of Lexington and Concord, that was nothing compared to Bunker Hill. It was a real doozy.
Well, my grandfather said it was actually at Breed's Hill, overlooking Boston.
Yeah, you're right. 2,400 British soldiers against 1,600 colonial militia. The war was already in favor of the British before it even started.
I had my gun up, ready to shoot, when the colonial commander said,
Don't shoot till you see the whites of their eyes!
We lost at Bunker Hill, but we surely showed those British we were tough enough to take on those redcoats.
Speaking of tough, how about that battle at Trenton, New Jersey?
I was cooking my Christmas ham for the troops when Washington and 2,400 soldiers snuck past my dwelling and across the Delaware.
Those sleeping Hessians had no clue we were planning a surprise attack until it was too late.
That was a huge victory for the Patriots. My grandfather told me that Washington took 900 Hessians prisoner.
This revitalizes the American Revolution.
You guys remember the Battle of Saratoga, New York?
This was definitely the turning point of the Revolutionary War in favor of the Patriots. Oh, I remember when the colonists cut down all those trees and dammed the rivers.
Gilbert told me all the militia conducting sneak attacks on the British patrols.
Didn't the Patriots gain support from the French and the Spanish because of this victory?
Yeah, we did, and it really helped us for the rest of the war.
Valley Forge was one of the worst battles I've ever seen between man and nature. 2,000 soldiers died of malnutrition and disease, including my husband. I got transferred to Pennsylvania to help with the hospitals by tending to the wounded and sick soldiers.
12,000 men fought the brutal winter of 1777-1778. The winter was painful, but afterward we were trained and toughened for the battles to come. My grandfather said that they lacked supplies, food, protection, and some didn't even have shirts. That must have been the worst battle. But what part did the Navy have?
Well, the Navy took part in the battles at sea, but they only took part because Ben Franklin persuaded Louis XVI to help.
This was also a big win for the Patriots. First, they attacked the British supply lines in the Bahamas. Then, the Continental Navy used less than 100 ships, but yet they defeated over 200 British ships.
What? My grandpa never told me about that.
I remember a fellow cook telling me that they heard Pirate John Paul Jones say, "I have not yet begun to fight."
I read in my grandfather's diary that the battles in the southern colonies was very brutal. Why were they brutal? The British started to destroy and kill everything in their path. While me and my troop were trying to cross the woods, we ran into a massive group of loyalists and British soldiers. We were outnumbered greatly, and all of a sudden, the forest burst into flames. My entire troop got out, except for me. I was trapped when the flames reached my face, leaving my face severely scarred and burned.
But in the end, the Patriots switched to a hit-and-run tactic called guerrilla warfare. They would fire at the British and then run.
This frustrated the British because they were not able to counter this type of warfare.
The best battle by far was the Battle of Yorktown in Virginia.
We were all looking forward to that day when Cornwallis would surrender to us. This day finally came on October 9th, 1781.
Cornwallis moved 7,200 men to Yorktown, Virginia.
Washington ordered the French Lafayette to block Cornwallis inland while he commanded 16,000 colonial soldiers.
That's right. When the French fleet arrived, they blocked the waterways to make sure that the British couldn't escape by sea. Together, they wore down the British.
I couldn't imagine what our country would be like if the British never surrendered in the final battle of the Revolutionary War.
What's that?
Oh, this? That's a cartoon called Join or Die. It was created by Ben Franklin to bring people to the Patriot side.
That's how Gilbert and I were persuaded to join the Patriots.
I can't believe I forgot my grandfather telling me that the separate pieces of the snake represent the 13 colonies.
Talking about the 13 colonies, we had different strengths and weaknesses. For example, we had strong leadership with General Washington, who had high character and inspired courage in many people.
Not to mention, we were fighting on our home ground, so we knew the land much better than those redcoats.
Yeah, that was really bad for the British side because their supply line was over 3,000 miles away. This resulted in poor communications for the British. It would take months for the British ships to cross the Atlantic Ocean and get new supplies. They were also very easy targets because of their noticeable uniforms and their choice of military tactic.
Just remember that we had our weaknesses too. For example, our army and militia was very inexperienced. We were untrained and undisciplined. I should know because I had to dress up like a boy just to fight in the war.
We also had constant shortages. We ran out of money, weapons, food, clothing, and medicine.
Didn't the British have many strengths as well as weaknesses? I thought that some of their strengths were that they had numbers in almost every battle. I mean, they outnumber you guys in every battle.
Yeah, they did. On top of that, they had a ton of money to spend on their war, unlike the colonists. They had enough money to hire 3,000 German soldiers called the Hessians.
Oh, look at the time. It's getting late. We've got to go. It's been fun catching up with you guys.
See ya, folks!
See ya. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye.